In remote landscapes where the ordinary ends, stone and earth rise into forms that hint at knowledge long lost. Some constructions are carved with flawless precision, their corridors and chambers echoing with a silence that has lasted centuries. Others hide underwater or deep within overgrown terrain, holding secrets that challenge every assumption about the people who built them. Across the globe, these ancient structures remain unsolved, whispering of rituals, vanished civilizations, and ingenuity that seems almost impossible. Prepare to witness hidden tunnels, explore submerged monuments, and stand before megalithic walls whose origins remain a puzzle. Each site reveals fragments of a past that refuses to be fully understood, inviting you to uncover the mysteries that linger just beyond human comprehension. Derinkuyu Underground City, Turkey, beneath the quiet plains of Cappadocia, where volcanic rock rises in soft ridges and hollowed cones, there lies a world that was never meant to be seen by sunlight. The Derinkuyu Underground City stretches deep into the earth, an immense labyrinth carved from tough stone, descending through hidden corridors and chambers that reach far beyond what the eye can follow. It was first rediscovered in 1963, when a local man renovating his home knocked through a wall and found a narrow tunnel leading into darkness. What he uncovered was not a simple cave, but the uppermost level of a buried metropolis that had been sealed away for centuries. Archaeologists soon realized that Derinkuyu was not merely a shelter or a refuge, but an entire city built in secret beneath the ground. It sprawls downward through at least 18 levels, though only 8 are accessible today. The air shafts, carved with astonishing precision, descend as much as 60 meters, keeping the interior cool and breathable. Narrow passages connect each level like arteries, leading to wine presses, stables, kitchens, schools, and even churches. The rooms are smooth and symmetrical, their walls lined with niches where oil lamps once burned to illuminate the stone. Massive circular doors of rock, each weighing hundreds of kilograms, could be rolled into place to seal entire sections, suggesting a city designed for defense as much as for habitation. No one knows who built Derinkuyu, nor exactly when it was first hollowed from the volcanic crust. Some scholars propose that the earliest levels date back to the Hittite period, around the 2nd millennium BCE. Others suggest it was expanded much later by early Christians fleeing persecution under Roman rule. The tunnels show evidence of multiple eras of occupation, each generation adding new chambers, new stairways, and new purposes. Yet there are no inscriptions, no carvings of kings or gods, no sign of ownership or conquest. The walls remain mute, as though the builders meant to erase their presence as thoroughly as they concealed their world. What strikes researchers most is the scale of engineering. The coordination required to ventilate, illuminate, and supply such a vast underground system defies the capabilities usually attributed to ancient rural communities. Fresh air flows effortlessly through vertical shafts, and water channels run deep enough to reach aquifers that remain uncontaminated by the surface. Each detail seems deliberate, as though the architects had mastered an understanding of pressure, temperature, and airflow centuries before such principles were formally studied. Even more puzzling is how such an enormous excavation could have been accomplished with the limited tools of the time, and how its existence remained unknown for so long, despite lying directly beneath inhabited land. The deeper one descends, the more the air thickens with silence. At the lowest accessible levels, the tunnels grow narrow and the ceilings press close. Researchers have discovered small cells where people may have slept, larger communal halls that could hold hundreds, and storage rooms filled with traces of grains and seeds long turned to dust. Some areas appear to have been reserved for animals, with tethering holes and feeding troughs carved into the walls. In one chamber, a vertical shaft drops into blackness, possibly a well or a hidden escape route. Every path seems to lead further into mystery. Some legends claim Derinkuyu was more than a place of refuge. Some say it was built as protection from an ancient cataclysm, a disaster that forced entire populations underground. Others believe it was intended as a permanent settlement for a forgotten civilization, one that preferred darkness to daylight. Among Cappadocia's people, there are older stories still whispers of the jinn, spirits said to move through stone as easily as smoke through air. The tunnels, they say, were not built by human hands at all, but inherited from something that dwelled there long before humankind arrived. When modern explorers venture into the deeper passages, they often speak of a strange feeling of pressure, as though the air itself carries weight, Instruments lose calibration, lights flicker, and some report the echo of movement in distant corridors where no one is walking. Archaeologists believe the city may extend far beyond what has yet been mapped, perhaps connecting to other underground complexes across Cappadocia through a network of sealed tunnels. Ground-penetrating scans reveal anomalies that suggest new levels still buried beneath the known ones. No definitive answer has ever been found, only the silent precision of a city designed for survival, constructed by people who vanished without leaving even a name behind. Derinkuyu remains an architectural riddle that has endured every attempt at explanation, as though its makers intended their secret to remain buried. Somewhere beneath those layers of rock, a passage still waits to be opened. Longyu Caves, China. In the hills of Zhejiang province, the town of Longyu sits quietly among rice fields and reservoirs, its people once unaware that an entire ancient world slept beneath their feet. For centuries, the land had seemed ordinary, until in 1992, a group of villagers decided to drain one of the ponds that dotted the valley. They expected to find little more than rock and mud, but as the water lowered, a void began to appear, a man-made chamber of immense scale, its walls perfectly carved and smooth, extending into darkness. When the pumps finally stopped, the villagers stood before something that no one in China, or anywhere else, had ever seen before. When the pumps first drained the stagnant water from neighbouring ponds, the pattern repeated. Beneath each one lay another vast chamber, hidden side by side, each shaped with uncanny symmetry and crafted with deliberate intent. The ceilings soared high above the villagers' heads, and on every wall ran intricate chisel marks meticulously ordered, identical in angle and depth, as though made by a single machine across surfaces hundreds of square meters wide. 5 of these monumental caverns were eventually exposed, connected by unseen geometry, all carved from solid sandstone. The total volume of rock removed is estimated to exceed 1 million cubic meters, a feat that should have taken years of labor with tools that history insists did not yet exist. The walls inside were smooth as glass, without soot, debris, or any trace of habitation. There were no inscriptions, no statues, no altars, no sign of human life. Stairways rose cleanly from the floors, leading to raised platforms, alcoves, and angled corners designed with almost mathematical precision. Even the smallest details the symmetry of the ceilings, the calculated slope of the floors, the proportions of each chamber suggested a blueprint that must have existed, yet no record of such a plan has ever been found. The surfaces glimmer faintly under artificial light, catching the fine striations left by chisels that seem to follow an intentional rhythm, like lines of a language no one can read. No document, no record, no chronicle in the vast span of Chinese history mentions the Longyu Caves. Dynastic archives that detail the construction of temples and canals remain silent about their creation. The Qin and Han, known for their detailed record-keeping, make no reference to the excavation of such a structure. Even local legends are curiously vague, only fragmented tales of bottomless waters or houses of dragons beneath the fields. It is as though the memory of their making was deliberately erased, leaving behind only the voids themselves as evidence that someone once worked here. Some researchers propose that the caves were ceremonial, meant to honor the gods of the underworld, or to preserve the dead from decay. Others imagine them as secret storehouses, or as quarries later reshaped into sanctuaries. But none of these explanations withstands scrutiny. There are no bones, no artifacts, and no discoloration from torches or offerings. The chambers bear no marks of ordinary occupation or ritual. Their design feels purposeful, but abstract, monumental yet devoid of narrative, a kind of architectural silence that resists interpretation. Yet every measurement complicates the mystery further. Laser scans reveal that each cave follows nearly identical angles, each wall inclined at the same precise degree, as though carved according to a master template. Geologists found no natural fissures or erosion marks to suggest a pre-existing formation. The sandstone itself shows no evidence of cracks from primitive tools, and the absence of tool remnants or waste rock raises another question. Where did the excavated material go? Millions of tons of it had to be moved, yet not a single trace of debris has ever been discovered in the surrounding valleys. What lingers most is the silence. When one speaks within those halls, the voice does not echo as expected. The sound seems to vanish, absorbed by the geometry itself. Standing there, one feels the weight of intention, every surface polished, every line controlled. It does not feel abandoned so much as paused, like a project interrupted by an event that left no survivors to explain its purpose. The sheer scale suggests a collective will, but the absence of identity makes it feel almost inhuman. If the Longyu Caves were meant to be remembered, time has done its best to ensure the opposite. No inscription declares their builders, and no record confesses their reason. They stand immaculate, untouched by history, as if time itself refused to enter. Every groove in the stone feels less like an echo of labor and more like a message meant for a future that has already forgotten how to read it. Nan Madol, Micronesia. Far out in the Pacific, where the horizon seems endless and the ocean folds upon itself in shades of blue and shadow, lies a place that appears almost impossible. Between the tangled mangroves and the shifting tide stands Nan Madol, a city built on water, suspended between coral reefs and basalt stone. To reach it, one must pass through a maze of narrow channels where the sea whispers against ancient walls, as though guarding the threshold to something deliberately forgotten. The stillness of the site feels unnatural, as if the ocean itself pauses here to remember what was once alive upon its surface. Rising from the shallow waters near Pompeii, the ruins stretch across nearly 100 islets, connected by crumbling stone passages. Each platform is constructed from immense basalt columns, some weighing several tons, stacked with mathematical precision that has confounded even modern engineers. The stone has no local source it had to be quarried, transported, and lifted without the aid of metal or wheel, across terrain and tide. The coral foundations beneath the structures still hold firm, as if anchored by design, defying the erosion that should have long claimed them. It is a city made of contradictions, impossibly heavy, yet somehow afloat. Few who have stepped across its waterlogged stones leave without feeling the disquieting sense of being watched. The canals, now dark and silent, once carried canoes between temples and tombs. The air carries no birdsong, only the low rhythm of waves that echo through the stone corridors like distant drums. Some sections of the city sink slightly with each passing year, yet others remain as though untouched by time. Archaeologists who mapped the ruins in the early 20th century described the experience as walking through a memory that refused to fade. The place felt neither abandoned nor alive, but suspended in a state between. Elders of the island still recount nights when the city seemed to glow faintly beneath the moon, light shimmering across the water where no flame was lit. They tell of two brothers, Olosofpa and Olosifpa, who arrived from the sea, bringing with them knowledge that no one else possessed. It was said they commanded the stones to rise by chanting to the winds, each basalt pillar moving as if drawn by invisible ropes. When their city was complete, the brothers vanished into the depths, leaving behind a kingdom of channels and walls that no ruler could ever fully claim. Even now, the people of Pompeii speak of Nan Madol with a mixture of reverence and unease, calling it the City of Ghosts. In recent years, teams equipped with sonar and drone imaging have surveyed the ruins, hoping to understand the methods and motives behind their creation. The results have only deepened the mystery. Beneath the visible city, submerged structures extend farther than anyone imagined, suggesting a far older foundation hidden beneath coral growth. Some researchers suspect an even earlier civilization lies buried there, its remnants long consumed by rising seas. The alignment of the city's main passages with lunar cycles and tidal movements hints at a precision that could not have been a coincidence. It is as if the builders were not just creating a city, but constructing a dialogue with the ocean itself. Divers exploring the site report formations beneath the coral that appear too precise to be natural. Stone platforms hidden under centuries of marine growth show signs of shaping far older than the visible ruins above. In some sections, basalt pillars appear fused as if once softened by heat, leading geologists to question whether the city's foundations predate known settlement on Pompeii. Core samples taken near the site suggest that sections of the base could have been altered by geothermal activity or by an unknown method of stoneworking lost to time. These findings have divided researchers. Some argue for a natural explanation shaped by erosion, while others suspect the remnants of an engineering technique no longer understood. At low tide, the ruins reveal just enough to unsettle the imagination. Water drains slowly from the channels, exposing carvings too eroded to decipher and chambers filled with shadow and salt. Every stone seems to bear the weight of silence, as if guarding a language that can no longer be spoken. When storms gather over Pompeii, the water turns black around Nan Madol, and the sea begins to rise against the stones with a sound that feels like a warning. No matter how often researchers return, the city remains one step beyond comprehension. Its purpose, its creators, its true age, all blurred by the tides that continue to claim it, piece by piece. When moonlight drifts across the black stones, the sea seems to remember who built them. Hypogeum of Galsaflieni, Malta. Descending through the narrow stone entrance, the air begins to change. The light from the surface fades almost instantly, replaced by a dim reddish hue that seems to rise from the walls themselves. The Hypogeum of Gaieni is not merely underground, it feels inward, as if one is walking into the memory of the earth. Each step downward leads through a silence so complete it presses against the skin, broken only by the faint sound of one's own breath. The air grows cooler, heavier, as though the chambers themselves are absorbing every sound and waiting for another voice to replace it. Carved entirely by hand, the Hypogeum spreads like a labyrinth beneath Paola, its chambers arranged in 3 descending levels that defy simple explanation. The limestone is soft, yet the precision of its sculpting suggests mastery and intent beyond mere excavation. Doorways align at perfect angles, ceilings curve in deliberate symmetry. No tools of metal have ever been found, and yet the structure displays an understanding of space and resonance unlike anything else from the Neolithic world. Light plays strangely here. Torches seem to dim as if the air itself were reluctant to reveal too much. Inside the chamber known as the Oracle Room, a single voice can fill every wall. When spoken in a low tone, sound lingers, vibrating through the stone at a frequency near 110 Hz, a range known to affect human perception and emotion. Ancient builders may not have known the mathematics of resonance, but they understood its power. Voices echo differently depending on where one stands, as though the room itself were choosing which words to carry and which to consume. Those who have tested the acoustics describe it as standing inside a living instrument, one that sings back when addressed in the right tone. Traces of ritual still linger in the red ochre spirals painted across the limestone. Bones of hundreds were once laid here, carefully arranged as if to form an audience for unseen ceremonies. Some chambers are so small they could fit only a single figure, crouched or lying in silence. Others open into circular halls that might once have held gatherings, where sound and shadow played together as part of a forgotten rite. The walls show signs of repeated contact hands that touched, scraped, and smoothed the stone until it felt almost warm. Whatever purpose guided their work, it seemed to blend reverence and fear into one act of creation. Archaeologists who first entered in the early 20th century found artifacts that hinted at complexity: beads, figurines, and small carved heads with elongated skulls, unlike those found anywhere else on the island. The Hypogeum's builders were connected to the temple culture of Malta, yet nothing on the surface matches the subterranean scale below. When explorers first shouted into the Oracle Room and heard the sound multiply around them, they thought it might have been designed to carry chants or messages through hidden corridors. Some believed it was meant for communication with the dead, others with the divine, each theory feeding into the mystery of who the builders truly were. Beneath the lowest level, an underground chamber holds stagnant water that seeps from unseen fissures. It is said that during excavation, one section collapsed into darkness, revealing a cavity so deep no one dared to measure it. Rumors persist that a tunnel once extended from the Hypogeum toward the sea, connecting this subterranean temple to other unknown structures. Whether true or not, the idea has endured among locals that beneath Malta lies an entire network of chambers, carved by hands no longer remembered, still resonating faintly beneath the city's modern streets. Visitors allowed within its deepest level often describe sensations that science cannot measure. Some report hearing distant murmurs where none should exist. Others claim the stone hums quietly when left undisturbed. Archaeologists note temperature changes that cannot be traced to airflow or depth. A few visitors have emerged pale and trembling, unable to describe what they felt when the silence began to vibrate around them. The Hypogeum seems to alter perception, bending the boundary between hearing and imagination until one can no longer tell which is speaking. Even at present, the chamber waits for a voice brave enough to answer it back. Yonaguni Monument, Japan. From above, the seafloor near Yonaguni flickers like a mirage, dark terraces and angular shadows trembling beneath the current. When sunlight strikes at the right angle, a staircase seems to appear, vast and geometric, stretching into the dim blue like the entrance to a forgotten realm. Fishermen were the first to speak of it in the late 1980 seconds, when sonar scans revealed a pattern unlike the seafloor they knew. Yet, as the waves passed, the illusion folded back into the sea, and the stones returned to stillness, refusing to be known. Those who dive here describe a kind of visual deceit, as though depth itself were bending truth. The monument shifts with every fin stroke, each contour distorted by rippling light. Divers descend, believing they'll find clarity, but the closer they swim, the less certain the structure becomes. Sharp edges blur, corners dissolve, and what appears deliberate from afar unravels into doubt when touched by hand. Some say it feels less like swimming through ruins and more like floating through a thought the ocean never finished. Angles emerge where none should survive, terraces that resemble forgotten stairways, and flat platforms as precise as any quarried by ancient builders. The monument stretches across the seabed with uncanny order walls that seem parallel, corridors that align too neatly to be chance. Measuring nearly 150 meters long and rising 25 meters from the ocean floor, it is larger than any single temple in the region. Yet water has its own logic, and centuries of erosion can sculpt geometry that deceives even the trained eye. Every straight line feels like a sentence interrupted. In the stone's worn faces, erosion mimics intention, as if water has preserved memory instead of erasing it. Patterns form and vanish under a diver's light, crosscuts that look like tool marks, fissures that trace the lines of ancient design. There are no carvings, no relics, nothing human to anchor the place in history. Still, the monument seems aware of its watchers, its silence weighted like a presence that does not wish to explain itself. Beneath the constant hum of the current, the site feels less like ruin and more like ritual, something made not for use, but remembrance. Scholars who study the site rarely agree on what they're looking at. Some geologists insist it's nature's architecture sandstone, sheared clean by tectonic stress, every edge the child of pressure and time. Archaeologists counter that the formation bears symmetry that no earthquake could produce. Japanese marine geologist Masaki Kimura once claimed to have found steps, roads, and even a stadium-like structure within its layout, though his peers remain unconvinced. Their arguments rise and fall like the tides themselves, each certain, each uncertain, all drawn to the puzzle the sea refuses to surrender. Local tales drift through generations, murmuring of islands that once stood where the waves now breathe. Ryukyuan legends speak of a realm beneath the sea, a kingdom drowned for reasons lost to time. To some, Yonaguni is its gateway, a remnant of Mu, the Pacific's Atlantis. To others, it's simply a place where the ocean remembers too much, where myth and erosion share the same face. Old sailors claim that during calm seasons, when the water is clear, the site glows faintly from below, like embers of a world that refuses to go dark. Even experienced divers hesitate to describe what they find, unsure whether their eyes or the sea itself shaped the vision. Some speak of vertigo, others of awe, all marked by the same unease that what lies below is both familiar and impossible. Even seasoned researchers pause before describing it, as if to speak its shape too clearly might dispel it entirely. Many return year after year, unable to let it go, convinced that the sea conceals a blueprint older than human memory. Under the restless tides, the monument endures in silence, its stones offering only suggestion, never certainty. It endures in the fragile space between perception and belief, where history drowns and mystery survives. Whether it is a temple, tomb, or coincidence, the sea keeps it as its own, rewriting it with every tide that passes above. Something in those submerged corridors seems to breathe when the current passes, as though the sea itself is trying to remember what it once concealed. Chavín de Huántar tunnels, Peru. High in the Andean highlands of Peru, where mist drifts between stone terraces and the wind moves like breath through the mountains, lie the ruins of Chavín de Huántar, a ceremonial complex that predates the Inca by nearly 2 millennia. Built around 1200 BCE, it once stood as the spiritual heart of an ancient civilization whose influence stretched across valleys and peaks, drawing pilgrims from distant lands. Yet beneath its courtyards and monolithic sculptures runs a hidden world, a maze of tunnels carved deep into the earth, where echoes replace light and sound seems to twist into meaning. The underground system extends for hundreds of meters, weaving through chambers that once held altars, stone basins, and sacred carving. Some passageways are so narrow a person must crawl through them. Others open into vaulted spaces where sound reverberates endlessly. Archaeologists have mapped multiple levels upper tunnels, intersecting with lower galleries, each connected to central courtyards, above revealing an architectural intelligence far beyond what was thought possible in the Andes at the time. One of the most striking features is the lanzon, a massive granite monolith buried within the heart of the temple complex. Carved into its surface is a fearsome deity with feline fangs, talons, and flowing hair that transforms into serpents. When sound moves through the tunnels surrounding the lanzon, it distorts and deepens, producing resonant frequencies that seem almost designed to unsettle the mind. Some researchers believe these acoustics were no accident, that priests of Chavin engineered the passages to amplify the voice of their god, creating the illusion of a living presence within the stone. Ceremonies held here may have been orchestrated to overwhelm the senses. Excavations have revealed carved conduits that once carried water through the tunnels, perhaps mimicking the roar of underground rivers during rituals. Pilgrims arriving from across the Andes were likely led through the labyrinth in near darkness, their minds and senses disoriented by echoes, shadows, and the low vibration of sound bouncing through the rock. To them, the voice that issued from the depths would not have seemed like an illusion, it would have been the voice of the divine itself. Yet the mastery of stonework and design at Chavin de Huantar raises questions that go beyond ritual. The entire complex was constructed from precisely fitted blocks of granite and limestone, quarried from distant locations and transported across mountain valleys without the aid of wheels or iron tools. Drainage systems carved beneath the temple still function after more than 3,000 years, channeling rainwater away from the galleries to prevent flooding. The builders aligned key structures to celestial events, the rising of certain stars and solstices, hinting that the tunnels may have been part of a larger cosmological plan. In recent years, laser scanning and 3D mapping have revealed new sections of the complex never been documented before. Archaeologists discovered a series of sealed chambers containing carvings unlike any others at the site faces neither human nor animal, mouths open as if caught in the act of speech. These findings have reignited speculation that the tunnels were meant to reproduce not only sound but also myth, serving as a physical echo of creation stories lost to time. Some believe the Chavin priests used the acoustics to simulate the voice of the underworld, guiding initiates through symbolic death and rebirth. But even these explanations fail to address the most haunting aspect of Chavin de Huantar, the feeling reported by those who enter its depths. Modern explorers describe a sense of vibration in the air, a low hum that seems to pulse from the stone itself. Standing within the tunnels, one can hear sounds that have no visible source, whispers that fade into silence, rhythmic patterns that vanish when recorded, the faint impression of footsteps following close behind. Geological surveys have ruled out nearby water flow or seismic activity as causes. What remains is something intangible, an acoustic phenomenon that defies easy measurement yet continues to evoke awe and unease. Perhaps the builders of Chavin understood something about sound and consciousness that modern science has yet to rediscover. Or maybe they shaped the tunnels not merely to worship, but to communicate with something that could only be reached in darkness and vibration. And deep within those ancient corridors, the stone still listens. Uxbenca Maya Caves, Belize. The ancient city of Uxbenca lies concealed in southern Belize, deep beneath the jungle's soaked canopy and the weight of time. Centuries ago, this was a thriving Maya settlement, a network of plazas, temples, and stelae overlooking the rugged foothills of the Maya Mountains. But beneath the forest floor, hidden below limestone ridges and tangled roots, archaeologists have found something stranger, a series of sealed caves whose carved walls speak of ceremonies long forgotten. When the soil gave way beneath a collapsed temple mound, the first entrance revealed itself like a wound in the earth. As excavations began, researchers uncovered a narrow passage leading downward, the air thick with the scent of wet stone. The walls were lined with limestone blocks, fitted with improbable precision, their surfaces etched with faint symbols, eroded by moisture and time. What began as an ordinary dig became something else entirely, a descent into a world where faith had been sealed away, as if deliberately hidden from the eyes of later generations. Inside the chambers, the light of torches revealed fragments of a vanished ritual life. Pottery vessels lay arranged in circles, around altars of carved stone. Human bones, polished smooth by centuries of dripping water, were found beside offerings of jade and shell. The deeper the explorers went, the more it seemed the caves had been shaped to follow the natural veins of the earth, guiding water and sound through the passages as though these elements themselves were sacred participants. Scholars have long debated what these caverns meant to the people who built above them. Some suggest they were ceremonial chambers where priests entered trance states to communicate with the gods of fertility and death. Others propose that they served as womb-like spaces, symbolizing rebirth. The damp walls and echoing corridors meant to replicate the primordial void from which creation emerged. Yet none of these explanations account for the haunting precision with which the chambers interact with their surroundings. The way sound rolls along the walls, the way light refracts through thin sheets of calcite, or the subtle vibration felt when standing in absolute stillness. To those who have ventured deepest, it feels less like a ruin and more like a living organism, pulsing faintly beneath the surface. For the ancient Maya, caves were not merely geological features, but living portals, gateways to Xibalba, the underworld where deities of decay and transformation resided. Water dripping from the ceiling was seen as the lifeblood of the earth, and echoes were thought to be the voices of gods responding from the other side. In Uxbenka's case, the alignment of the cave entrances with celestial markers on the surface suggests a deliberate attempt to link sky and underworld, life and death. The priests who descended into these spaces may have reenacted the journey of creation itself, crossing from darkness into light, from silence into sound. Even now, those who step inside speak of an uneasy stillness that refuses to fade. The temperature drops sharply after only a few meters, and the faint sound of dripping water seems to shift in rhythm, almost responding to movement. Some explorers have reported hearing whispers just beyond the reach of their lights, voices that echo without direction. Photographs taken deep within the system sometimes show streaks of light and shadow no one recalls seeing in person. Locals who guide researchers into the area insist on leaving offerings, corn, tobacco, or a few drops of water before entering, saying it's not the darkness that must be respected, but the memory that sleeps within it. Archaeological equipment occasionally malfunctions inside, cameras refusing to focus, batteries draining faster than expected. Whether coincidence or not, the result is the same, a sense that these caves remain guarded, as though something within them has never truly been abandoned. The more the earth gives up its secrets, the less certain the answers become. Each discovery, another mural, another sealed chamber, adds to a story that refuses completion. The Uxbenka caves seem to exist in a state between worlds, untouched by the passing centuries, yet still breathing faintly in the present. Beneath the roots of the jungle, the ancient city is gone, but its heartbeat continues, somewhere below, slow and steady as stone. And sometimes, in the depths of the cave, it feels as though the earth itself is listening back. Kailasa Temple at Ellora, India. Carved from the heart of a mountain, the Kailasa Temple of Ellora stands as one of the most bewildering feats of ancient craftsmanship ever attempted. Rising from the black basalt cliffs of Maharashtra, it appears less built than revealed, as though an entire mountain had been persuaded to shed everything that was not divine. The temple is not assembled stone by stone, but sculpted downward from a single mass of rock, its courtyards, shrines, and galleries emerging from solid earth with perfect symmetry. To stand within its walls is to sense an almost impossible patience, a vision that shaped the living mountain as though time itself had obeyed human hands. No record survives to explain how such a monument came into being. Historians believe it was commissioned by King Krishna I of the Rashtrakuta dynasty more than 1,000 years ago, yet no inscription claims authorship, and no text describes its method. Archaeologists estimate that over 200,000 tons of stone were removed to carve the temple, but no quarry traces remain, and no tool marks are consistent with ordinary chisels. The excavation descended vertically through the rock. One false strike could have shattered centuries of labour, yet the surfaces remain smooth, precise, almost mathematical in their proportions. Each pillar aligns seamlessly with the next, each sculpted form maintaining perfect balance despite the unforgiving medium. It is architecture without a blueprint, creation without error. Within its shadow, the air hums with quiet reverence. The temple is dedicated to Lord Shiva, whose cosmic dance destroys and renews the universe, and the site's design seems to mirror that cycle. Towers rise from the carved floor like mountains within a mountain, symbolizing Mount Kailash, the mythic home of the gods. Courtyards echo with the sound of wind passing through stone ribs, and sunlight, falling from above, touches only certain altars at certain hours, suggesting an understanding of geometry that transcends its era. Everywhere one looks, life is depicted in motion deities, elephants, and celestial beings, emerging as if from the stone's own dream. The artistry is so refined that even decay seems reluctant to take hold. Centuries later, visitors from distant empires and faiths stood in awe of its silent perfection. Early British explorers thought it a deception, a single sculpture mistaken for a city of many buildings. Later scholars tried to date the monument by style and inscription, yet each conclusion unraveled under scrutiny. Some theories place its origins earlier than the Rashtrakutas, citing possible prototypes carved by unknown artisans. Others claimed that its sudden appearance in history suggested something more mysterious, a project guided by forgotten methods, or perhaps knowledge not preserved in any surviving text. The deeper one studies Kailasa, the less it fits within ordinary timelines, as though it belonged not to an age, but to a principle. According to local tradition, the temple's creation was an act of divine promise. Legends tell of a queen who vowed to fast until she could see the spire of a temple dedicated to Shiva. The king, desperate to fulfill her wish, ordered his craftsmen to begin from the summit of the mountain and carve downward, allowing the spire to emerge first. Within days, the peak was revealed, so the story goes, and the queen's fast was broken. Though the tale bends toward myth, it captures the spirit of something essential, a faith so absolute it moved stone itself. Some accounts even suggest that the mountain was not carved by ordinary tools but softened, as if by heat or vibration, shaped by means now lost to history. Whether poetic invention or dim recollection of an ancient technique, the result remains the same. No modern engineer can reproduce it. Those who stand before it often find themselves unable to decide what they are seeing. The temple does not feel merely ancient, it feels otherworldly, as though unearthed from a civilization that never recorded its own existence. In the cool corridors, light drifts across carvings so precise they seem newly made. The scale defies proportion, the silence feels too deliberate, and the boundaries between architecture and sculpture dissolve into something closer to revelation. Even after centuries of study, the monument's creation reads less like evidence of human labor and more like a question directed at human understanding. Inside the mountain's dark heart, something still waits, unmoved by those who came seeking truth. The ruins of Tiahuanaco's Acapana Pyramid, Bolivia. From the beginning, the Acapana was less a discovery than a reconstruction. What lay beneath the windswept plateau of Tiahuanaco seemed less an archaeological site than the outline of something erased, a structure remembered only in fragments of stone and conjecture. Early excavators could not tell where the pyramid began or ended. Its terraces had been swallowed by centuries of soil and storm. Yet beneath the surface, a pattern emerged, angular, deliberate, and unmistakably human in origin. The Acapana, once dismissed as a natural hill, revealed itself as a monument built with mathematical intention, each layer whispering of a civilization whose silence remains more profound than its ruins. In the scattered stones that once formed its 7 terraces, patterns emerge only when viewed from above. The layout follows a precise symmetry, mirroring celestial alignments and the flow of surrounding rivers, as if the builders had merged architecture with astronomy. Massive blocks of andesite, some weighing dozens of tons, rest upon each other with uncanny precision, their joints so perfect they require no mortar. Each level narrows toward the summit, suggesting that form held ritual meaning, perhaps tracing the ascent from the earthly to the divine. The erosion that blurs its edges now seems almost merciful, softening the harsh geometry of a place never meant for casual understanding. Archaeologists speak of precision they cannot replicate, joints so seamless they seem poured rather than carved. The quarry that produced these stones lies miles away, separated by ravines and uneven plains, yet no tool marks or transport systems have ever been found. Some scholars propose the use of advanced techniques now lost to history, while others caution against projecting modern assumptions onto an ancient mind. Still, the engineering defies explanation. The Acapana's builders mastered forces of weight, balance, and acoustic resonance in ways that suggest knowledge older than their own recorded culture. Each discovery leads not to certainty, but to deeper bewilderment, as if the monument resists being fully understood. Local Aymara traditions recall the pyramid as a center of thunder, where gods descended through storms. They speak of lightning striking the summit during rituals, opening a channel between the sky and the underworld. The name Akapana, translated loosely as place of the sacred waters, links to the belief that the structure once harnessed rainfall and river currents in a symbolic cycle of death and renewal. Beneath the terraces, channels carved from stone seem to guide water through unseen pathways, creating the impression of a living monument, one that breathed, murmured, and sang when the rains came. To the Aymara, its sound was not weather, but a voice. Excavations through the 20th century revealed channels carved beneath the terraces. Some appear designed to collect and redirect water, while others lead nowhere, ending abruptly in sealed stone. This pattern of intentional incompletion haunts researchers, suggesting a ritual function beyond engineering logic. The summit once held a sunken courtyard, an inverted temple, where participants may have descended rather than ascended, as though the ceremony sought connection not with the heavens, but with the earth below. Fragments of ceramics, sculpted heads, and andesite idols found nearby speak of offerings, but none explain the pyramid's true purpose. The Akapana is less a temple than a device, its function still unreadable. Its architecture remains incomplete, to the eye the pyramid still guarding what it was meant to reveal. Satellite scans and ground-penetrating radar reveal cavities within the mound, empty spaces that might once have held chambers or tunnels. Some researchers believe the original structure extended underground, forming a vast, unseen labyrinth beneath the visible terraces. Others argue that later cultures modified what they inherited, layering their own beliefs atop an older foundation. In this mixture of architecture and myth, the Akapana becomes a palimpsest of civilizations, each adding its own mystery to the next. The deeper one studies it, the less certain its age becomes. What remains most unsettling is the absence of any burial, inscription, or offering to define its purpose. No text, no record, no name survives to identify those who built it or what they sought to commemorate. Even the stones appear deliberately stripped of ornamentation, as if their meaning depended not on symbols but on alignment, proportion, and silence. Scholars can measure its height, reconstruct its symmetry, and date its surrounding artifacts, but not its intention. The Akapana endures as a riddle of stone, speaking in geometry rather than words. The earth has claimed it, but the pattern persists, quietly expecting to be read once more. Hypogeum of Cividale del Friuli, Italy. Stone corridors hum with forgotten voices. The moment one steps into the hypogeum, the air changes, heavy with the weight of centuries, each carved chamber a silent witness to rituals no longer remembered. Narrow passageways branch unexpectedly, some leading to small altars, others ending abruptly in rough-hewn walls, as if the builders left fragments of their design deliberately incomplete. Shadows linger in corners that no natural light can touch, and the stone itself feels almost alive, absorbing the echoes of footsteps and whispers alike. Every surface, every niche, suggests an intention beyond mere shelter or storage, a deliberate effort to create a hidden space of significance whose meaning has slipped through history's grasp. Each layer of stone tells a story that contradicts the one beneath it. Archaeologists have uncovered phases of construction spanning centuries, evidence that successive generations altered the hypogeum's form, adding corridors, chambers, and altars over time. Some walls display delicate carvings, while others are rough and utilitarian, a visual record of human hands, both reverent and hurried. The layering creates a sense of dialogue between the ages, a conversation left unfinished, each intervention hinting at ceremonies, initiations, or observances now lost. Walking through the hypogeum is like reading fragments of a manuscript where every page has been rewritten, yet the narrative remains unresolved. Altar stones and niches suggest rites that have no surviving script. Small depressions, raised platforms, and recesses in the walls point to offerings or ceremonial implements, yet nothing has survived in full. Anthropologists speculate about purification rituals, blood sacrifices, or ancestor veneration, but without written records, every explanation remains conjecture. Even the arrangement of the chambers themselves hints at ritual choreography paths designed to guide participants, to control movement, sightlines, and perception. The space functions almost like a stage, its performance unseen but etched into stone for those who once knew its story. Corridors twist in ways that defy conventional logic, guiding sound and shadow alike. Some passageways narrow to tight squeezes, while others expand into small halls, and the turns seem calculated to amplify or muffle voices. Certain chambers echo with unusual resonance, allowing whispered words to carry across distances no eye can see. Scholars debate whether these acoustics were intentional, part of ceremonial practice, or simply a byproduct of the rock's natural properties. Regardless, the effect is undeniable. The hypogeum communicates in a language of reverberation, manipulating perception as much as space, and leaving every visitor aware that sound itself has been shaped to serve an unknown purpose. No inscription names the architects or explains the purpose behind the carvings. Unlike many other sacred sites in Italy, the hypogeum offers no signature, no dedication, no record of its creators or the society that commissioned it. Every block, every passage stands as an assertion of human presence without context. Attempts to date the construction precisely are confounded by overlapping layers and subsequent modifications, leaving only estimates based on pottery fragments or mineral analysis. The absence of documentation transforms the hypogeum from a monument into a puzzle, one in which every answer leads to another question, and certainty remains tantalizingly out of reach. Researchers mapping the hypogeum report echoes that seem to respond to movement. Sensors and modern equipment have confirmed unusual acoustic patterns, but explanations vary widely from the geometry of the corridors to unexplored chambers that may amplify sound. Some researchers speak in hushed tones of footsteps that seem out of sync with those inside the hypogeum, or of faint whispers that vanish when approached. These reports are dismissed by some as imagination, yet they persist, reinforcing the sense that the hypogeum retains a memory of its human occupants, a lingering presence that resists complete comprehension. Time has not loosened the hypogeum's secrets. Even as modern science reveals its structure, its materials, and its acoustics, the deeper meanings remain impervious to analysis. The overlapping phases of construction, the deliberate twists and turns, the silent altars, and the echoes all combine into a puzzle that transcends measurement. The hypogeum is at once tangible and elusive, a monument to ritual and devotion, yet one that preserves more questions than answers. It is a space built to be remembered, but whose language has slipped from our understanding. The stone seems to wait, patient and watchful, for the voices that once understood it. Cuicuilco Pyramid, Mexico. When the volcano rumbled, the city froze beneath rivers of molten stone. Lava flowed through streets, swallowed homes, and smothered lives, leaving behind only fragments of what had been a thriving urban centre. Smoke and fire erased the skyline, and the people who once walked these roads vanished almost without a trace. Yet in the midst of this sudden destruction, a single structure endured, partially buried and contorted by the shifting earth, standing as a silent witness to the catastrophe. Its circular terraces, crafted from compacted earth rather than stone, suggest intention, planning, and a society capable of shaping monumental forms even amid impending doom. Shards of pottery and fragmented dwellings hint at lives abruptly interrupted. Broken bowls, charred wooden beams, and scorched foundations emerge sporadically from the hardened lava, each fragment whispering stories that will never be fully understood. Streets once bustling with commerce and ceremony are now indistinct depressions in the earth, their layouts faint but traceable. The evidence points to an organized society, yet one whose daily rhythms ended in a single fiery moment. The contrast between survival and annihilation lends the ruins an eerie resonance, as though the city itself remembers the final, chaotic hours before its burial. At the heart of the ruins rises a circular form carved from earth rather than stone. The Cuicuilco Pyramid is unlike any other in Mesoamerica, its terraces forming concentric rings that narrow toward the center. Unlike the stepped pyramids of later civilizations, its design feels organic yet deliberate, a form that blends ritual purpose with architectural ingenuity. Despite centuries of volcanic overlay, the pyramid's shape is still recognizable, a testament to both the skill of its builders and the preservation that catastrophe inadvertently provided. Its unusual form challenges assumptions about early urban construction, hinting at a culture both inventive and unrecorded. Layers of compacted earth and volcanic ash, reinforced with clay and stones, reveal deliberate engineering choices that allowed the pyramid to endure both human activity and encroaching lava. Small pits and depressions along the rings may have held wooden posts or ceremonial markers, indicating the pyramid was an active center of ritual life. Some researchers speculate that its circular form symbolized cycles of time or cosmological beliefs, with each terrace representing stages of existence or celestial patterns. Scholars debate the purpose of its circular terraces, but no consensus exists. Some propose that the pyramid served as a ceremonial center, a stage for rites lost to time. Others suggest astronomical alignments, with terraces marking the movements of the sun, moon, or stars. Civic functions have also been suggested, perhaps as a communal hub or administrative platform. Yet every hypothesis encounters limitations. The lack of inscriptions, the incomplete preservation of surrounding structures, and the abruptness of the city's destruction leave no definitive answers. The pyramid remains enigmatic, a structure defined more by mystery than certainty. While other centers flourished nearby, Cuicuilco stands apart, its influence and decline still enigmatic. Contemporary settlements in the Valley of Mexico, like Teotihuacan, would rise centuries later, absorbing cultural and architectural traditions that may have originated here. Trade, ritual, and urban planning hint at interactions with neighboring societies, but the specifics are lost. The pyramid is a solitary monument, its story frozen in a landscape of molten rock and silence, a reminder that human ingenuity can be both profound and ephemeral. Careful observation reveals terraces and foundations laid with surprising precision. Each layer curves with consistency, suggesting a mastery of geometry and a deliberate vision that defies the era's apparent technological limits. Channels for drainage and slight inclines hint at an understanding of water management and soil compaction. The surviving form of the pyramid demonstrates that its builders were not only architects but planners and organizers, capable of coordinating large-scale construction projects with foresight and sophistication. These details make the sudden abandonment all the more haunting. The city's sudden disappearance leaves questions that no artifact can fully answer. Why was Cuicuilco abandoned so abruptly? Did its people flee, or were they consumed by the eruption? How much knowledge, culture, and history vanished in that single cataclysm? Archaeologists piece together clues from pottery shards, terrace remnants, and charred deposits, but every answer leads to further speculation. The pyramid, surviving in partial obscurity, continues to guard its secrets, offering only hints of a civilization that flourished and disappeared long before the written record of Mesoamerica had begun. Encased in layers of hardened lava and silence, the pyramid holds its secrets like a breath frozen in time. The stone spheres of Costa Rica, lying across the jungle floor, the spheres gleam with a silent precision. Moss and undergrowth cling to their surfaces, softening the edges of granite, yet failing to diminish their uncanny perfection. Some rest alone, others in small groupings, but each seems intentionally placed, as though the forest itself respects their geometry. The spheres are not merely stones, they are relics of an intelligence that predates written history, their rounded forms resisting the erosion of time while inspiring questions that continue to evade answer. Each granite sphere ranges from the size of a fist to over 2 meters, perfectly rounded and oddly heavy. The larger examples weigh several tons, yet no signs indicate the use of levers, pulleys, or other moving devices. Their surfaces are almost impossibly smooth, showing no traces of the chipping or flaking typical of hand-carved stone. Even the smallest spheres exhibit such consistency in shape that the effort and skill of their unknown creators remain almost inconceivable. Geologists marvel at how natural processes could produce these forms, yet the precision is far beyond what erosion alone could achieve. Examination under modern microscopes reveals surface textures that challenge conventional carving techniques. Tiny striations suggest repeated abrasion rather than chiseling, indicating a process that could have involved sand, water, or other unknown methods. Some researchers propose that the spheres were polished over years, perhaps generations, while others suspect that the creators had tools lost to history. The smoothness and consistency of each sphere hint at a sophisticated understanding of material properties and geometry that seems far ahead of its time. Some spheres appear arranged in deliberate lines or clusters, hinting at a purpose lost to time. Patterns emerge when viewed from above or mapped across the terrain, suggesting alignments with rivers, mountains, or celestial events. Certain groupings imply social or ceremonial significance, perhaps demarcating territorial boundaries or sacred spaces. Observers report a subtle rhythm in their placements, a silent order that seems intentional but defies interpretation. Every discovery deepens the mystery. How did these early inhabitants achieve such planning without written records, and what did these arrangements signify in a culture we can now only imagine? No tool marks or records survive to reveal who shaped these stones, or how they achieved such precision. The spheres are scattered across multiple regions, implying a widespread tradition, yet leaving no clues about the artisans or techniques employed. Experimental archaeologists have tried to replicate the spheres using primitive tools, but results fall far short of the original's perfection. Even with modern machinery, reproducing the scale, weight, and uniformity proves challenging. The lack of documentation forces researchers to rely solely on the stones themselves, making every detail from size and placement to surface finish a critical piece of a puzzle without edges. Local legends and later cultures treat the spheres as sacred markers, though their original intent remains obscure. Indigenous oral histories often ascribe spiritual or cosmological significance to the stones, linking them to ancestral spirits or the movements of celestial bodies. Spanish chroniclers noted them centuries ago, describing awe and superstition, yet even they could not fathom the sphere's purpose. Some local communities still approach the sites with reverence, performing small offerings or rituals, a practice that echoes a continuity of respect for the enigmatic creations. Studies show the stones were carved from distant quarries, moved without known machinery, and placed with uncanny consistency. Transportation across rivers and dense jungle suggests an advanced understanding of logistics and manpower. Certain spheres are found kilometers from their likely source, implying careful planning and coordination. The effort required for movement and placement indicates that the spheres were more than ornamental, they were statements of intent, communication, or devotion whose meaning has been lost to time. Recent surveys have uncovered smaller spheres hidden among vegetation, suggesting a broader and more complex network than previously documented. These lesser-known spheres may indicate a hierarchical system of placement, perhaps marking paths, sacred boundaries, or ritual precincts. The discovery also raises questions about how many spheres remain undiscovered, swallowed by centuries of jungle growth or erosion. Each new find deepens the enigma, hinting that the spheres were part of a deliberate landscape design whose meaning has been lost to time. Despite decades of study, the spheres defy explanation, existing as puzzles older than most records of the region. Every hypothesis, astronomical marker, territorial symbol, ceremonial object encounters contradictions or gaps in evidence. Researchers continue to map, photograph, and analyze, yet certainty remains elusive. Each discovery raises as many questions as it answers, reinforcing the sense that the spheres are deliberate mysteries, waiting patiently for understanding. Hidden within the dense jungle, the spheres may still guard a secret no one has yet deciphered. The Chincanars, beneath Cusco, Peru. A narrow stairway disappears into darkness, leading to passageways carved with silent precision. The air grows cooler and heavier with every step, carrying the scent of earth and centuries of human presence. Shadows cling to the walls, giving the impression that the tunnels themselves are alive, listening to every movement. Here, beneath the bustling streets of Cusco, lies a hidden world of stone corridors and secret chambers that has resisted full understanding for centuries. Each turn hints at hidden connections, a labyrinth shaped with intent, yet defying complete comprehension. The faint trickle of water echoes through the corridors, whispering of passages long forgotten and rooms that may never be seen. Corridors wind unpredictably, some opening into small rooms, others vanishing into dead ends. The passages twist at angles that confound the visitor, sometimes narrowing so tightly that only one person can pass at a time. Stone staircases descend and rise unexpectedly, and walls show precise cuts that fit together without mortar. The complexity of the network suggests planning of extraordinary sophistication, an architectural mastery that leaves even seasoned explorers questioning how the Inca achieved such feats. Occasional niches and carved ledges punctuate the dark, hinting at objects or offerings that once occupied them, though centuries have stripped them away. Small recesses and carved platforms hint at rituals conducted long ago, their purpose now obscured. Niches may have held offerings, altars, or sacred objects, though no traces remain intact. Some chambers seem designed to create echoes or amplify sound, perhaps for ceremonial chants or secret messages. Every detail points to human intention, yet the absence of written records leaves meaning tantalizingly out of reach. The tunnels appear to have been a space of reverence, secrecy, and perhaps even danger. Certain areas carry a faint chill, as if the stone itself remembers ceremonies performed in hushed voices long before anyone could document them. Stories passed through generations speak of treasures and guardians lurking in the depths. Local legends tell of explorers who vanished without a trace, swallowed by the twisting passages or enticed by hidden chambers never to be seen again. Some myths claim spirits of the ancient builders patrol the tunnels, protecting sacred knowledge or wealth. These tales mingle with the tangible evidence of the corridors, reinforcing a sense of foreboding and wonder that surrounds the Chincanas even today. Visitors sometimes report hearing faint footsteps, whispers, or sudden drafts that defy explanation, as if the labyrinth tests all who enter. The precision of stonework and interlocking passages suggests knowledge lost with time. Blocks fit seamlessly, walls bend at sharp angles without structural failure, and some tunnels align with features above ground, indicating a deliberate integration with the city itself. The engineering speaks to more than practical use. It reveals a culture deeply attuned to space, geometry, and perhaps unseen rituals. Each corridor demonstrates careful thought, yet its original function may forever remain elusive. Modern analysis hints that certain passageways could have been used to manipulate sound, light, or airflow, though evidence is fragmentary. Navigating the tunnels continues to test the limits of both endurance and courage. Modern explorers encounter uneven floors, tight squeezes, and passageways partially collapsed over centuries. Maps are incomplete, and the network extends far beyond what can be safely traversed. The labyrinth's scale and unpredictability challenge even experienced guides, making each descent an exercise in both physical resilience and mental focus. Equipment, like lamps and ropes, provide some security, yet the dark twists conceal unknown risks. Those who venture far enough report a growing sense of isolation, as though the tunnels themselves are evaluating the intruder. No matter how much is mapped or explored, the full reach of the Chincanas remains unknown. Many passageways remain sealed or too dangerous to enter, leaving gaps in understanding that fuel both scholarly debate and local imagination. The tunnels may connect to other structures, temples, or hidden complexes, yet undiscovered. Every exploration uncovers more questions than answers, deepening the sense that this underground city was never meant to be fully revealed. Archaeologists continue to speculate about the tunnel's original purpose, whether they were intended for secrecy, religious practice, storage, or as escape routes, but each theory leaves room for doubt. Cusco's underground corridors extend far and silent, as if the city itself is keeping secrets from the world above. Hypogeum of Cumae, Italy. Centuries before the rise of empires, the Hypogeum of Cumae was whispered to hold the voices of the dead. Its reputation reached far beyond the city itself, a subterranean sanctuary whose true purpose has long eluded historians and scholars. Early accounts describe a place where mortals might brush against the divine, where rituals were performed in silence and secrecy, and where the boundaries between life and death were believed to blur. Even now, the air surrounding the Hypogeum carries a sense of solemnity, as if the echoes of centuries-old ceremonies linger just beyond hearing. Stone walls curve and intersect, forming chambers whose purpose remains enigmatic. Each room appears deliberately designed, with corners that meet at precise angles and corridors that twist in patterns difficult to trace. Niches and ledges carved into the rock suggest a space used for offerings or sacred objects, yet no definitive records explain their significance. The sheer scale and symmetry of the architecture evoke meticulous planning and craftsmanship, demonstrating a mastery of subterranean construction that modern techniques can scarcely replicate. Carved platforms and recessed niches hint at rites conducted under shadows and silence. Some chambers feature depressions in the stone floors, perhaps intended to hold vessels or symbolic objects used during ceremonies. Traces of pigments on walls, now faded, indicate that color may once have played a role in these rituals, though their meaning remains a mystery. The design of the Hypogeum suggests that it was more than a burial site or a refuge. It was a carefully controlled environment where the physical space amplified the weight of ritual acts. Pieces of stone carvings and faded inscriptions hint at rituals and beliefs that remain indecipherable. Scattered remnants of sculptures and etched symbols depict abstract forms or stylized figures whose significance is unknown. Some carvings suggest ceremonial objects or deities, yet their meaning has been lost over millennia. Often found in hidden recesses or atop raised platforms, These artifacts indicate that the hypogeum was more than a network of chambers. It was a repository of sacred knowledge, with cryptic designs reinforcing the sense that much of its purpose was deliberately concealed. Ancient writings describe the hypogeum as a threshold between the living and the dead. Legends speak of priests or seers who descended into its chambers to communicate with spirits or to seek guidance from the beyond. Some texts hint at strange acoustics within the tunnels, where whispered words would resonate as if answered by unseen presences. Travelers and chroniclers over the centuries recorded faint murmurs or sudden chills in certain rooms, fueling speculation that the site retained an aura of the sacred or the supernatural, a power carefully preserved through stone and shadow. The precision of stone carving and subterranean planning challenges modern understanding. Walls and ceilings are smoothed and fitted with an accuracy that suggests tools or techniques now lost to time. Some corridors align with celestial phenomena or features above ground, implying a deeper knowledge of astronomy and geometry. The arrangement of spaces within the hypogeum may have been intended to manipulate sound, light, or even air currents during rituals, but these possibilities remain conjecture. Every corner, angle, and recess speaks to a deliberate intent, yet the purpose behind these choices remains shrouded in uncertainty. Adventurers navigating the corridors encounter uneven floors, narrow passageways, and centuries of decay. Sections of the hypogeum have collapsed or become inaccessible, leaving fragmented glimpses of the larger network. Explorers moving through the tunnels report a growing sense of isolation, as if the hypogeum itself measures the courage and patience of those who enter. Faint drafts, sudden shifts in temperature, and the echo of footsteps against stone combine to create a palpable tension. Each discovery, an intact niche, a carved symbol, a hidden chamber, offers fascination but raises further questions about the scope and function of this ancient sanctuary. Even with careful study, the purpose of the hypogeum and the secrets it protects remain elusive. Scholars debate whether it was a site of initiation, a funerary complex, or a place of prophecy, yet no single theory satisfies the evidence. Despite centuries of excavation and analysis, much of the hypogeum remains untouched, and the stories passed down through generations continue to blend historical observation with legend. Its mysteries endure, drawing both curiosity and caution, leaving an impression that some knowledge was intentionally sealed away by its builders. Within the ancient city of Cumae, the subterranean halls may still whisper secrets that no living voice can interpret. Nabta Playa Stone Circle, Egypt. Amid the shifting sands of the Egyptian desert, a circle of stones rises silently, older than the pyramids themselves. Time has layered the landscape with dunes and dust, yet the arrangement endures, a ghostly testimony to the vision of a civilization long vanished. Few traces of the people who erected these stones remain, but their legacy is inscribed in the deliberate positioning and careful selection of each boulder. The desert around Nabta Playa hums with absence and presence at once, as if the land itself remembers the rituals performed beneath the open sky. During the time of its construction, the desert was dotted with lakes and seasonal rivers. Each stone is positioned with remarkable care, forming alignments that seem to echo the stars above. Some stand taller than a man, their surfaces weathered by millennia, while others are smaller and partially buried, like sentinels watching over the circle. The spacing between them is precise, suggesting intentions far beyond mere construction. The stone's placement is not haphazard. Every angle and distance hints at a knowledge of patterns, cycles, and movements that would have guided the people who arranged them. Observations reveal that the circle's design mirrors the rising of particular stars and the sun's celestial path. During solstices, light passes through the arrangement in ways that could have marked the seasons or signaled important agricultural events. Other stones align with constellations still recognizable today, implying a sophisticated understanding of celestial mechanics long before written astronomy existed. These alignments suggest that the builders of Nabta Playa were keen observers of the heavens, blending practicality with ritual in a manner that remains mysterious. Traces of ritual activity suggest the stones were more than markers. They were a stage for ceremonies intertwined with the heaven. Burned fragments and charcoal remnants indicate fire may have played a role, while pits and depressions hint at offerings or symbolic gestures. Burials discovered nearby reveal that the circle may have held both sacred and communal significance, serving as a gathering place for rites that connected the living with ancestors and the cosmos. The rituals, long forgotten, leave behind only subtle marks, challenging modern observers to interpret gestures now hidden in time. Nearby settlements and burial sites suggest that Nabta Playa was part of a larger network of prehistoric communities. The circle's surroundings yielded fragments of pottery and carved relics, each discovery layering more intrigue onto the site. Some pieces depict abstract symbols, others show patterns that may correspond with the positions of the stones themselves. These objects suggest a ritualistic framework, a culture in which astronomy, ceremony, and daily life were intertwined. Yet their exact meaning is indecipherable, leaving an impression that the full depth of knowledge possessed by Nabta Playa's inhabitants has been irretrievably lost to history. The sheer accuracy of the placements hints at a knowledge of astronomy that predates written records. Measuring and moving these massive stones without modern tools would have required planning, coordination, and an understanding of seasonal cycles. The deliberate precision raises questions about the sophistication of prehistoric societies in this region. How did they observe and interpret celestial patterns? What drove them to construct a monument so enduring and carefully aligned? These questions persist, inviting speculation without answers. Certain stones may have functioned as sightlines to predict eclipses or lunar cycles, though the evidence remains speculative. Years of excavation have uncovered secrets buried in the earth, but each revelation seems to multiply the mysteries. Scholars continue to debate the circle's purpose: an observatory, a ceremonial site, a calendar, or perhaps a combination of all three. Even as modern technology allows for more accurate measurements and reconstructions, the intentions of the builders remain elusive. Every footprint, every artifact, and every alignment point to an intelligence that sought to harmonize human life with the cosmos. Yet, its reasoning is permanently obscured. The full purpose of the stone circle and the people who erected it continues to elude researchers, buried under the weight of time and shifting sands. The desert swallows explanations as readily as it preserves monuments, leaving Nabta Playa suspended between observation and imagination. Scholars may continue to measure, chart, and theorize, but the essence of the site, its meaning, its power, its place in the minds of its creators, remains tantalizingly out of reach. Under the desert sky, Nabta Playa still watches, guarding secrets written in stone that no modern eyes can fully read. Submerged ruins of Atlit Yam, Israel, the waters off the coast of modern-day Israel, conceal a village that has lain silent for thousands of years. Atlit Yam, a Neolithic settlement now submerged beneath the Mediterranean, presents a striking glimpse into a world long erased by rising seas. Divers who first explored the site were met with rows of stone-built houses, streets, and circular stone structures, all remarkably preserved beneath the waves. The village, estimated to date back over 9,000 years, provides a rare opportunity to witness a human settlement frozen in a moment, yet the circumstances that drowned it remain shrouded in mystery. Through painstaking study, archaeologists have uncovered the deliberate layout of Atlit Yam. Foundations of stone homes are still intact, often accompanied by hearths and storage areas. Some structures are circular, possibly serving as communal gathering spaces or ritual sites. Evidence of cultivated fields and wells indicates that the inhabitants had developed a sophisticated approach to agriculture and water management. They lived in a delicate balance with their environment, yet this balance was violently disrupted by a rise in sea level that would submerge their homes entirely. Human remains discovered at the site add a chilling human dimension to the ruins. Skeletons have been found lying within houses or near stone structures, some showing signs of sudden death. One well-preserved skeleton is of a man lying with a stone tool beside him, his posture suggesting an abrupt end. The skeletal analysis points to a community that suffered no signs of long-term starvation or disease, implying that the submersion occurred rapidly rather than over decades. This suddenness has fueled speculation that a cataclysmic event, perhaps a tsunami or rapid flooding, may have overtaken the village, yet no definitive evidence confirms the cause. Artifacts recovered from Atlit Yam provide further insight into the daily lives of its inhabitants. Flint tools, stone axes, and carved bone implements suggest advanced craftsmanship. Pottery fragments indicate culinary practices and storage methods, while the occasional ornamental object hints at a culture capable of artistic expression. Among the most intriguing finds is a carefully constructed stone circle, whose purpose is still debated. Some scholars suggest it may have served as a ritual site, perhaps marking astronomical events or seasonal cycles, while others argue it could have functioned as a communal focal point for ceremonies or social gatherings. The precise meaning of this structure, like much of Atlit Yam, remains elusive. The village's water management systems are equally puzzling. Divers have identified stone-lined wells and channels that appear designed to protect fresh water from seawater intrusion. One well is over 3 meters deep and contains stone platforms, suggesting it may have had ceremonial significance as well as practical use. The level of engineering demonstrates that Atlit Yam's inhabitants were not only skilled in survival, but also capable of shaping their environment in ways that required careful planning and knowledge of hydrology. How such expertise could vanish beneath the waves without leaving contemporary records adds another layer to the site's enduring enigma. Climate data and geological studies indicate that the Mediterranean coast experienced a rapid rise in sea level around the time Atlit Yam was abandoned. This rise, estimated at several meters, could have been triggered by melting glaciers or seismic activity. Yet the exact combination of factors that drowned the village so completely remains a matter of debate. Unlike many ancient settlements lost to time, Atlit Yam is visible and tangible beneath the water, preserved in an eerie stasis that allows researchers to reconstruct its story piece by piece. The site has become a focal point for studying early Neolithic culture, offering a rare intersection of archaeology, geology, and anthropology in a submerged setting. Despite decades of study, Atlit Yam resists full understanding. Every discovery seems to deepen the mystery rather than resolve it. The sudden abandonment, the precision of the structures, the careful management of resources, and the preserved human remains all point to a community that disappeared almost overnight, leaving no written records or accounts to explain their fate. Researchers continue to return to the site, drawn by the haunting clarity of a world drowned yet preserved, a civilization both intimate and unknowable. The Mediterranean conceals Atlit Yam, where silence hangs heavier than the water above. Taos Cave System, Ecuador. A glint of metal half buried in stone catches the eye, cold and deliberate, as if placed for centuries to be found yet remain unexplained. Its surface is smooth and unnaturally reflective, unlike any naturally occurring mineral in the surrounding limestone. Divers and explorers who first encountered it reported an unsettling clarity in its composition, as though it had been polished to perfection for an unknown purpose. The object is small, yet its presence shifts the perception of the cave from a natural formation into something more deliberate, almost as if the stone itself holds a message hidden in plain sight. The walls curve unnaturally, forming chambers that do not align with natural erosion and passages that seem intentionally convoluted. Narrow corridors open into vast galleries, some stretching far beyond what any ordinary mapping would expect. Stalactites hang like silent witnesses, yet their arrangement appears almost symmetrical, hinting at patterns that challenge the casual observer's understanding. In certain chambers, echoes behave oddly, bouncing in ways that suggest the cave itself was designed to amplify sound or obscure direction, creating an environment that disorients even the most experienced spelunker. One explorer reported a vast gallery filled with objects that shimmered faintly in torchlight, leaving him unsettled and uncertain of what he had witnessed. The artifacts were metallic in nature, some appearing as sheets or rods embedded into stone surfaces, others as small, intricate devices that defied contemporary understanding. Attempts to remove or examine them were met with frustration, as their composition resisted conventional tools. Notes and sketches from this expedition described the unease felt when encountering these objects, a feeling that the cave itself was aware of intrusions, as if watching silently from within its shadows. Legends speak of guardians, and knowledge lost to time, whispers carried through generations of Shua communities, but rarely confirmed by outsiders. Elders describe passages where the walls seem alive, corridors that shift with the moon, and chambers where faint light or metallic glimmer appears without a source. Rituals and offerings were performed in select chambers, meant to honor beings said to reside deep underground. While skeptics dismiss these stories as myth, the consistency of oral accounts across decades suggests that some underlying truth persists, obscured by the veil of folklore. Measurements show formations of precise angles and carvings inconsistent with local geology, hinting at deliberate human or perhaps unknown engineering. Researchers have noted surfaces smoothed in ways not attributable to water erosion or tectonic activity. Some carvings resemble abstract symbols, while others mimic representations of creatures not otherwise known in pre-Columbian iconography. These features are interspersed among entirely natural formations, blending the ordinary with the inexplicable, leaving scientists struggling to separate what is crafted from what is coincidental. Among the chambers, faint traces of organic pigments have been discovered on some walls, preserved against the damp stone as if deliberately painted to convey meaning. These pigments, appearing in red, ochre, and black, form patterns that do not match any known symbolic system of nearby civilizations. Microscopic analysis suggests they were applied with precision, possibly using brushes or tools unknown in regional archaeology. The presence of these pigments raises the possibility that the cave was not only a repository of physical artifacts, but also a space for symbolic or ritual expression, hinting at a culture whose intellectual and artistic complexity remains largely invisible to the outside world. Fragments of metal, smooth and undecayed, are embedded in stone in ways no modern method could replicate. Tests conducted on a limited number of pieces reveal alloys not known in local history, their composition puzzling metallurgists. The objects show no signs of corrosion that should accompany centuries underground in a humid, mineral-rich environment. Some appear integrated into the rock itself, as if formed together with the stone. Each fragment raises questions about the origins of those who placed them here, whether human or something else entirely. No pattern emerges from these scattered clues, only the sense that the caves themselves are a puzzle deliberately designed to conceal their truth. Each fragment, each carving, and each metallic anomaly seems to point toward an intelligence capable of orchestrating both architecture and deception. As researchers attempt to document the labyrinth, more passages remain unexplored, their existence known only through oral testimony or brief glimpses from explorers. The further one ventures, the more the sense of incompleteness deepens, as if the cave guards knowledge that no outsider has yet earned. The uncharted tunnels twist and turn, carrying shadows that guard mysteries older than any living memory. Hypogeum of Porzolipon, Naples, Italy. A carved relief within one chamber defies known Roman symbolism, its motifs seeming deliberately cryptic. Each etched line and figure appears purposeful, yet none correspond to documented Roman religious iconography. Scholars examining these patterns have noted subtle inconsistencies, as if the artist intended to encode knowledge or ritual significance that has been lost to time. The relief's placement, high on a wall difficult to reach, suggests it was meant to be seen only by those initiated into some secret practice. Its presence immediately transforms the hypogeum from a mere burial site into a space of enigmatic intention. The first archaeologists to descend into the hypogeum recorded a network of passages that suggested planning far beyond mere tomb construction. Narrow corridors branch unpredictably into vaulted halls, some ending in small niches, others opening onto larger ceremonial chambers. The precision with which these subterranean spaces were carved from volcanic tuff has baffled experts, particularly given the limitations of Roman engineering tools. Even with meticulous measurement and recording, the spatial logic of the hypogeum often eludes explanation, as though the builders followed rules lost to contemporary understanding. Irregular distances between the chambers hint at design choices whose purpose remains a mystery. Some halls appear to be deliberately isolated, connected only by long, winding tunnels, while others converge unexpectedly, creating points where sound and movement might have been amplified or distorted. This irregularity challenges traditional assumptions about Roman tomb design, implying that function may have been intertwined with ritual, secrecy, or acoustic considerations. The architecture seems to be communicating a purpose that modern researchers can sense but not fully decode. Tiny urns and delicate statuettes are dispersed throughout the corridors, silent witnesses to practices long vanished. Many are placed in alcoves or along walls, positioned with care rather than left randomly. Some display abstract designs, while others resemble miniature human forms, possibly representing ancestors, deities, or initiates. The assortment and placement of these artifacts suggest a highly symbolic environment, yet there is no surviving record that explains their meaning. Each object raises further questions about the society that produced them and the beliefs that guided their subterranean practices. Unusual inscriptions etched into some walls have confounded linguists, consisting of symbols that resemble Roman lettering, yet follow patterns not found in any known script. Some appear mathematical or calendrical, while others suggest symbolic sequences that may have held ritual significance. Their placement near key chambers implies intentionality, perhaps marking zones of ceremony or sacred space. Attempts to interpret these signs have produced theories ranging from secretive priestly codes to forgotten regional dialects, but none provide a definitive understanding of their purpose. These enigmatic markings deepen the sense that the hypogeum was designed not only as a physical structure, but as a language of hidden meaning. Remarkably, some walls and vaulted ceilings appear optimized for sound, suggesting unknown ceremonial practices. Certain chambers produce echoes that carry in unnatural ways, while others seem to absorb even loud noise almost entirely. Experiments by modern researchers indicate that these acoustic effects are not accidental. The geometry of the rooms interacts with sound to create spaces that could have enhanced ritual chanting, prayer, or other sacred performances. The interplay between form and function adds a layer of sophistication and mystery, leaving scholars to wonder how much of the hypogeum's design was intended for spiritual or psychological impact. Scholars continue debating whether the hypogeum was primarily a funerary complex, a ritual sanctuary, or something entirely different. Some argue that the concentration of tombs and urns indicates a focus on burial and ancestor veneration. Others suggest that the chambers and acoustics imply ceremonies that transcended funerary use, possibly reserved for an elite priesthood or secret society. Conflicting interpretations persist because the site offers tantalizing evidence for multiple uses but no definitive documentation. The result is a structure simultaneously concrete and elusive, offering hints without revealing full truths. Even after decades of research, much of the hypogeum's design and function remains inaccessible, leaving its ultimate secrets intact. Narrow tunnels remain unexplored, and some chambers are too fragile to enter safely. Attempts to fully map the hypogeum have uncovered more questions than answers, from unusual construction techniques to spaces that challenge the understanding of Roman subterranean engineering. Every artifact, passage, and architectural quirk contributes to a sense of deliberate enigma, a reminder that some human achievements are meant to resist full comprehension. Tucked away in the twisting tunnels, a chamber waits silently, its original function lost to history. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. Civilizations thought to be primitive appear almost sophisticated here, with stone circles predating settled agriculture by thousands of years. The scale and ambition of Göbekli Tepe challenge conventional ideas about what hunter-gatherer societies were capable of achieving. Unlike simpler campsites or temporary settlements, the site reveals a commitment to construction and design that implies organization, planning, and a shared vision. Its very existence forces a re-evaluation of human ingenuity in the Neolithic, suggesting that cultural complexity may have arisen earlier than previously believed. Comparisons with other contemporary sites show little evidence of similar monumental projects, leaving scholars to wonder what social or spiritual forces motivated such extraordinary effort. Massive pillars rise from the ground, carved with figures and abstract symbols that challenge the understanding of early human craftsmanship. Some pillars stretch over 5 meters, hewn from limestone and carefully positioned in circular enclosures. The effort required to quarry, transport, and erect these stones is immense, leaving archaeologists and engineers alike puzzled about the methods employed. Wooden rollers, ropes, and levers may have been used, but the exact techniques remain speculative. The precision of placement indicates that the builders had not only the tools, but the knowledge to coordinate labor on an unprecedented scale for this period. Each circle of pillars demonstrates careful planning and engineering that continues to astonish modern visitors. Carvings etched into the stone depict animals in poses that seem deliberate, yet their symbolic meaning has resisted interpretation. Lions, snakes, foxes, birds, and other creatures appear repeatedly, sometimes in stylized forms or violent postures. Abstract motifs accompany these figures, suggesting ideas, rituals, or stories that are now lost. Some researchers propose that the carvings encode seasonal or astronomical information, while others interpret them as totems or mythological representations. Despite decades of research, scholars remain divided on whether these carvings functioned as religious symbols, clan identifiers, or records of events. Each image raises questions about the society that produced them and the intellectual life of its members. Careful examination of the site reveals intricate planning and alignment, suggesting intentions far beyond mere survival or shelter. Certain enclosures align with sunrise or sunset points at solstices, hinting at ritual or ceremonial timing. Pathways and spacing between circles appear deliberate, guiding movement through the complex in a way that may have influenced social gatherings or sacred practices. The layout also reflects a deep understanding of engineering and spatial planning, with entrances, walls, and pillars positioned for structural stability as well as symbolic meaning. This intentionality indicates that Göbekli Tepe was more than a communal gathering place. It was a space designed to convey meaning and shape human behavior. The layout hints at social and ritual organization, implying that hunter-gatherers may have coordinated complex ceremonies. The scale of labor required to construct the pillars, carvings, and enclosures points to hierarchical or cooperative structures that challenge assumptions about nomadic life. Scholars theorize that groups may have traveled from great distances to participate in events here, suggesting a cultural and spiritual magnetism that elevated Göbekli Tepe beyond a simple settlement. The site may have functioned as a nexus for communication, ritual, and shared knowledge among early communities, demonstrating that prehistoric humans could organize for purposes far beyond subsistence. Some chambers appear intentionally filled with soil, a purposeful act whose meaning continues to puzzle experts. Entire enclosures were buried deliberately, preserving them in a state that would remain hidden for millennia. This act may have been symbolic, protective, or part of a ritual closure, but its precise purpose is unknown. Modern excavation has revealed these interred layers gradually, exposing previously hidden carvings and layouts, each find deepening the sense of enigma surrounding the site. The deliberate burial adds another layer of mystery, implying foresight and intention from a society whose complexity was previously unimagined. The visible remnants continue to captivate, leaving unanswered questions about what this place once represented. Visitors and researchers alike are struck by the combination of scale, artistry, and secrecy, which evokes questions about spirituality, societal organization, and the cognitive capacities of early humans. Despite ongoing studies, Göbekli Tepe resists definitive interpretation, offering instead a profound glimpse into a world that existed long before written history, where human ambition and mystery intertwined seamlessly. Each visit, measurement, and photograph reveals something new, yet simultaneously emphasizes what remains unknown. Hidden under centuries of soil and silence, Göbekli Tepe guards a secret that could forever change our understanding of human history. Ruins beneath Lake Titicaca, Bolivia, Peru. Ancient stories tell of cities swallowed by water, echoing through generations as whispers of forgotten civilizations. Among the local Aymara and Quechua communities, legends speak of vast stone terraces and ceremonial centers lost to the depths of Lake Titicaca. Tales passed down through oral history describe entire settlements vanishing beneath mysterious waves, leaving only fragments glimpsed during droughts or low water. These narratives, though mythic in tone, have guided explorers and scientists toward areas of the lake that may hold the traces of a past civilization yet to be fully understood. Divers have observed stone foundations and terraced platforms beneath the lake, their outlines startlingly precise, despite centuries of sediment accumulation. Sonar imaging and underwater photography reveal formations resembling streets, plazas, and stepped constructions, suggesting careful planning rather than natural formations. Some terraces rise in regular intervals, hinting at architectural knowledge, sophisticated enough to shape communal spaces and support structural weight. The discovery has astonished both local authorities and international researchers, raising questions about who could have built such structures and why they were eventually submerged. Careful mapping reveals straight edges and perpendicular layouts that hint at deliberate urban planning. The geometric precision of these formations challenges assumptions about pre-Columbian engineering in the Andean region. Lines that form grids or alignments suggest that the builders considered both functional and ceremonial requirements. Pathways may have guided inhabitants through residential zones, marketplaces, or sacred areas, while elevated terraces could have served both practical purposes and symbolic roles in rituals or seasonal observances. Every new survey emphasizes the intentionality behind the submerged architecture. The items found within the site hint at ritual practices as well as daily life, revealing ties to advanced pre-Columbian cultures. Pottery shards, stone tools, and fragmentary ceramics indicate human activity and craftsmanship, while some objects appear ritualistic, hinting at gatherings for worship or social events. The variety of finds points to a society with stratified roles or specialized functions, perhaps reflecting communal, religious, or administrative organization. These artifacts provide tangible evidence that the ruins were more than isolated constructions, they were integral to human life and culture. Analysis of sediment layers around the ruins has revealed evidence of sudden flooding events, suggesting that these structures may have been intentionally abandoned or rapidly submerged. Tiny fragments of organic material and pollen trapped in the silt indicate that the lake's water level rose sharply at intervals, possibly due to climatic shifts or seismic activity. These environmental changes could explain why advanced structures were left underwater, adding context to both the legends and the archaeological mystery. Understanding these natural forces may shed light on how and why a thriving society vanished so completely. Experts remain puzzled over the age and purpose of the ruins, with radiocarbon dating producing conflicting results. Some estimates suggest the structures could be several thousand years old, predating known urban development in the Andes. Debate persists over whether they represent the remains of an advanced pre-Incan culture, ceremonial complexes built by early civilizations, or even settlements lost to sudden environmental changes. Each theory presents challenges, as the lake's unique ecology and sedimentation obscure clear chronological evidence and make definitive conclusions elusive. The lake's conditions, including fluctuating water levels, strong currents, and thick silt, obscure much of the underwater terrain, leaving significant portions unexplored. Equipment limitations and safety concerns have restricted access to only a fraction of the ruins, meaning much of the site remains undocumented. Shifting sediments can reveal parts of the structures only temporarily, complicating attempts to survey or photograph them fully. These environmental factors contribute to the enduring mystery, as every expedition uncovers more questions than answers, hinting at a hidden scale and complexity yet to be measured. Each new survey uncovers tantalizing hints of streets, walls, or plazas, yet none reveal the full extent of what lies submerged. Observations suggest a coherent urban design with spatial patterns that repeat across multiple submerged zones. Connections between terraces and platforms imply purpose-driven layouts, possibly for administrative, ritual, or residential functions. While only glimpses have been seen, the structures collectively paint a picture of a society capable of sophisticated planning and coordination. With every sonar scan, divers and researchers are reminded that much of human history remains obscured beneath water and time. In the midst of the restless waters of Lake Titicaca, stones lie arranged in ways that defy explanation, as if they were waiting for the world to remember what was once built there. Gunung Padang, Indonesia. Terraces, stacked in successive layers, came to light during excavation, hinting at a far older origin. Archaeologists first documented the site in the early 20th century, but more recent investigations have revealed a complexity previously invisible beneath the dense jungle cover. The terraces cover a volcanic hill in western Java, stretching over several hectares, with each layer carefully placed to form a stepped landscape. Initial assumptions labelled it as a simple megalithic site, yet subsequent studies have indicated the presence of multiple construction phases, hinting at an extensive history that could stretch back millennia. Early explorers noted the sheer scale of the terraces, suggesting that even local populations were awed by their size and precision long before formal research began. Striking formations of basalt stones cover the hill, their arrangement suggesting careful planning rather than natural occurrence. Stones weighing several tons are positioned in regular patterns, forming platforms that appear intentionally leveled. The arrangement of these blocks has led researchers to suspect advanced knowledge of geometry and load distribution, particularly given the uneven slopes of the volcanic terrain. Even minor alignments in rows or clusters hint at deliberate choices rather than random placement, suggesting a vision guiding the entire construction. Some stones show signs of dressing and chiseling, while others bear grooves that may have aided in lifting or moving them, pointing to techniques now lost to history. Conflicting analyses of carbon samples have sparked debate over whether the site could be tens of thousands of years old. Radiocarbon testing of organic materials found within the terraces has produced results that challenge accepted timelines of human settlement in the region. Some researchers argue that the earliest layers may date back as far as 20,000 years, well before the known emergence of complex societies in Southeast Asia. Critics, however, question these interpretations, citing the potential for contamination, misattributed samples, or modern intrusions. These debates have prompted some scholars to reconsider the broader chronology of human innovation, suggesting that monumental construction may have occurred far earlier than previously assumed. The sheer weight and placement of some stones raise questions about the engineering knowledge of the builders. Moving massive basalt blocks up steep inclines without modern machinery would have required extraordinary organization and coordination. Archaeologists speculate that rollers, levers, and coordinated human effort may have been employed, yet no concrete evidence explains exactly how such precision was achieved. The terraces also display subtle interlocking of stones in certain layers, which may have increased stability and resistance to seismic activity, a crucial consideration in a volcanically active region. The scale of the construction challenges assumptions about the technological capabilities of early societies, prompting speculation about lost techniques or methods forgotten to history. Lines and curves within the terraces point to a knowledge of the heavens or to symbolic designs meaningful to early builders. Some researchers have noted correlations with solstices and the positions of certain stars, implying that the site may have served astronomical or ritual functions. The terraces themselves may have delineated sacred spaces, ceremonial pathways, or zones for communal gatherings. Artifacts recovered nearby, including small figurines and stone tools, suggest a population capable of ceremonial or religious observances. Combined with the monumental scale, these patterns hint at an intentional integration of natural landscape and human design, transforming the hill into a constructed statement visible across the surrounding terrain. Dense vegetation and unstable ground have hindered complete mapping, leaving portions of the site unexplored. Thick jungle cover conceals terraces and pathways, while heavy rainfall and volcanic soil erosion threaten both accessibility and preservation. Only partial surveys have been possible, with modern techniques like ground-penetrating radar, drone imaging, and three-dimensional scanning gradually revealing the full extent of the terraces. Each expedition uncovers new elements while emphasizing how much remains concealed, a reminder that even extensively studied sites can hold secrets waiting to be exposed. Local communities have occasionally assisted researchers, sharing traditional knowledge that hints at long-forgotten rituals connected to the hill. The true nature of Gunung Padang remains unresolved. Is it the product of a forgotten people, a monumental ritual site, or evidence of something older still? The combination of extraordinary construction, contested dating, and limited exploration ensures that every conclusion is tentative. Some scholars suggest that it could have functioned as both a ceremonial center and a statement of social cohesion, while others propose that its true purpose is entirely lost to time. Every layer and carefully placed stone invites speculation about human ambition, spirituality, and knowledge, while also reminding us of the limits of modern understanding. Layers of stone rise quietly on the volcanic hill, keeping their secrets buried in plain sight and daring history to uncover the truth. Antikythera shipwreck structure, Greece. In the early 20th century, sponge divers off the coast of Antikythera stumbled upon a shipwreck that would rewrite history. Initially, it appeared to be a typical cargo ship, long submerged beneath the waves, its wood darkened and barnacle-encrusted. Yet the sheer density of artifacts scattered across the site suggested that this vessel had once carried an unusually rich collection of objects. Among the broken amphorae, bronze statues, and shards of pottery, the divers uncovered a material record that would slowly unravel a hidden chapter of ancient Greek maritime commerce and scientific ambition. Word of the discovery spread quickly among scholars, who soon realized that the wreck was far more significant than its first impressions suggested. The combination of priceless artistic objects and the extraordinary artifact soon to capture global attention marked this as one of the most important underwater discoveries of the 20th century. Lying across the seabed were amphorae, statues, and fragments of wood, each hinting at the vessel's once grand cargo. Archaeologists began detailed mapping of the site, documenting the positions of each item in hopes of reconstructing the ship's original arrangement. The amphorae suggested the transport of wine and olive oil, while the statues, many in surprisingly good condition, reflected the tastes and wealth of the ship's patrons. Small wooden beams, partially preserved by the cold Mediterranean water, allowed researchers to infer aspects of the ship's design and construction, revealing techniques used by Hellenistic shipwrights that had largely been lost to history. Every fragment told a story, yet none prepared scholars for the single object that would redefine our understanding of ancient technology. A previously unknown bronze device was discovered in the ruins, captivating scientists with its intricate mechanisms. Unlike any other object recovered from the ancient world, this device combined mechanical sophistication with astronomical function. The initial confusion about its purpose gave way to careful examination, as experts realized that the interlocking gears formed a precise, complex system capable of modeling celestial cycles. Early photographs and sketches circulated among academic circles, and by the time the first comprehensive studies were undertaken, the object had already earned a reputation as the Antikythera mechanism. Its level of engineering sophistication would seem centuries ahead of its time. A detailed study revealed a mechanism capable of predicting eclipses, monitoring planetary movements, and logging complex celestial information with remarkable precision. The Antikythera mechanism contained more than 30 individual bronze gears, carefully arranged to calculate the motions of the Sun, Moon, and possibly the known planets. Each gear and dial corresponded to a specific astronomical function, from the timing of lunar phases to the prediction of solar and lunar eclipses. Inscriptions engraved on its surfaces provided further confirmation of its intended use, yet their full meaning remains partially indecipherable. Scholars marveled at the ingenuity, questioning how such a sophisticated instrument could exist in an era long before mechanical clocks or similar devices. Treacherous currents complicated excavation efforts, with strong currents, poor visibility, and fragile artifacts making every recovery painstaking. Divers risked life and limb to carefully extract each piece, often returning multiple times to the same site for minute adjustment. Artifacts had to be stabilized immediately to prevent rapid deterioration once exposed to air, and entire teams of conservators worked for years to preserve what had been brought to the surface. The challenges of the site added a layer of suspense to the work, with every dive potentially revealing further treasures or destroying fragile evidence. Advanced imaging has unveiled inscriptions and hidden mechanisms, gradually exposing the device's full capabilities. High-resolution X-ray imaging and 3D modeling allowed researchers to reconstruct the original arrangement of gears and understand how the mechanism functioned as a celestial computer. Even fragments that could not be physically handled have yielded data through these advanced methods, enabling the creation of working replicas and simulations of their astronomical calculations. After exhaustive analysis, the origins and function of the device, along with the possibility of other examples, remain unresolved. Questions about who could design such a mechanism, how knowledge of its construction spread, and whether it was a one-of-a-kind instrument remain unresolved. The rarity and complexity of the mechanism suggest that it represented a peak of Hellenistic scientific achievement, but the broader context of its creation is still unknown. Scholars continue to debate whether it was intended for private use, for teaching, or as part of a broader astronomical tradition that has otherwise vanished. Long covered by shifting layers of silt, the wreck remains a puzzle that could forever rewrite our knowledge of antiquity. Great Serpent Mound, United States. When explorers first descended into the hidden network of tunnels on Lampedusa, they encountered a labyrinth that seemed to defy the island's small size. The entrance was almost imperceptible, a narrow fissure in the limestone cliffs that gave way to a cool, dimly lit subterranean world. Initial excitement quickly shifted to awe as the team realized the scale of the hypogeum, corridors stretching for hundreds of meters, punctuated by chambers carved with careful precision. The walls were smooth in places, rough in others, suggesting that different tools or techniques had been employed over generations. Every step forward revealed signs of deliberate planning, as if the architects had designed the space for purposes that were at once functional and deeply ceremonial. Winding corridors revealed a complexity that exceeded earlier estimations. Some passages twisted at acute angles, forcing explorers to crouch or turn sideways to continue. Certain chambers expanded suddenly, their ceilings supported by carved pillars and arches, while other sections seemed intentionally constricted, creating an almost oppressive atmosphere. The spatial organization hinted at a sophisticated understanding of engineering, ventilation, and acoustics, though no written records survive to explain the reasoning. Light filtered in only, sporadically, from tiny openings, casting long shadows that shifted with each movement, enhancing the sense that this underground network had been deliberately designed to manipulate perception and mood. In unexpected spots, fragments of history quietly made their presence known. Scattered human remains, some carefully placed and others partially disturbed, suggested ritualistic burials. Tools, pottery shards, and ornamental objects hinted at a society with complex cultural practices, yet much of their symbolism has been lost. Certain chambers contained stone basins and carved recesses whose functions remain mysterious, sparking debate among archaeologists about whether they were used for rites, storage, or other unknown purposes. The preservation of some artifacts contrasts sharply with the erosion of others, leaving an incomplete but tantalizing picture of life and death within these tunnels. Formations unlike any others suggest that the ancient constructors knew or believed things modern scholars cannot fully grasp. Some walls bear marks that do not correspond to practical construction, resembling abstract patterns or symbols whose meaning is still debated. Certain corridors are aligned with faint celestial markers, although the exact purpose of these alignments remains uncertain. Water channels and drainage systems run through parts of the hypogeum, indicating an advanced understanding of subterranean hydraulics. These features collectively raise questions about the intentions of those who carved the hypogeum and whether it served both practical and spiritual functions simultaneously. Connections to early settlers can be glimpsed through comparative studies of nearby prehistoric sites. While Lampedusa is small, the hypogeum suggests contact with broader Mediterranean cultures, possibly reflecting shared architectural traditions or migratory influences. Yet its remote location and unusual design set it apart from better-known contemporary sites. Carbon dating and other analyses place its construction in a prehistoric timeframe, but no clear link has been established to specific tribes or civilizations. The lack of inscriptions leaves the purpose and meaning of this vast subterranean network largely in the realm of conjecture. Preservation challenges hindered further exploration. The limestone is fragile, and even minor vibrations can threaten the stability of certain chambers. Moisture seeps through cracks in the rock, fostering delicate ecosystems of mold and algae that complicate archaeological work. Modern equipment allows for more precise mapping and documentation, but many areas remain inaccessible. Researchers must balance the desire for discovery with the need to protect the site from damage, prolonging the process of understanding the hypogeum and leaving parts of it untouched, as if guarding secrets deliberately. The subterranean silence holds a weight that goes beyond the absence of sound. Every chamber, corridor, and niche conveys a sense of deliberate concealment, as though its creators intended that only a few would ever witness their work. Despite decades of study, each new excavation uncovers more questions than answers, reinforcing the sense that the hypogeum's true purpose may never be fully understood. Shadows linger in corners where no light reaches, and airflow carries whispers of time itself, suggesting that the structure was more than a tomb. It was a deliberate enigma crafted to endure. Lurking within the rock, the shadows of bygone lives cling to secrets the present may never uncover. The subterranean labyrinth of Hawara, Egypt, whispers of endless corridors and chambers designed to confound anyone who dared enter, have haunted explorers for centuries. Descriptions from ancient writers tell of halls filled with statues, hidden rooms, and passages that twisted back on themselves in impossible patterns. The subterranean labyrinth of Hawara, first chronicled by Herodotus, was said to extend over thousands of rooms, each crafted with precision and purpose. Despite modern excavation, much of this underground world remains buried beneath centuries of rubble, leaving only tantalizing fragments to hint at the ingenuity and intentions of those who built it. Historical accounts suggest that the labyrinth was more than a tomb or simple ceremonial space. Herodotus claimed it contained 1,000 chambers above ground and 1,000 below, some housing the deceased, others devoted to rituals and records. Archaeologists today debate the scale, but even partial excavations reveal a level of sophistication that challenges the understanding of Middle Kingdom Egypt. The walls, constructed from limestone blocks of extraordinary precision, are decorated with intricate carvings and inscriptions, though time and sand have erased much of their detail. These remnants suggest a civilization that valued secrecy, ceremony, and mastery over space, creating a structure designed to awe as much as to protect. Environmental dangers and structural instability have limited contemporary exploration of Hawara. Collapsing ceilings, shifting sands, and the labyrinth's own complexity have thwarted attempts to fully map its interior. Researchers have discovered passageways that suddenly vanish into solid rock, chambers with unusual ventilation, and staircases that appear to serve no practical function. Some of these features may have been intended to confuse intruders, but others defy conventional architectural reasoning, prompting speculation about purposes now lost to history. In some rooms, water seepage has preserved delicate plasterwork and fragments of wall paintings, yet much remains hidden, waiting beneath layers of stone and soil. The labyrinth's construction raises questions about the tools and techniques available at the time. Moving and placing the immense limestone blocks would have required extraordinary planning and labor, but the precise arrangement of the corridors and chambers suggests a deeper understanding of spatial design. Certain alignments appear to correspond with astronomical events or cardinal directions, hinting at a symbolic or ritual purpose. Scholars have proposed that the labyrinth was intended to represent a microcosm of the world, a sacred space reflecting cosmic order, though no definitive evidence confirms this theory. Each new excavation brings both insight and further mystery, revealing clever engineering while deepening the enigma. Findings from the surrounding area point to possible connections between the labyrinth and neighboring pyramids. The proximity to the pyramid of Amenemhat III, whose reign coincides with the labyrinth's construction, suggests the underground network may have been part of a larger ceremonial or administrative landscape. Artifacts recovered from fragments of collapsed chambers include pottery, statuettes, and inscriptions that refer to rituals and governance, yet the full scope remains elusive. The labyrinth may have functioned as a repository of knowledge, a sanctuary for the elite, or a combination of both. Each discovery underscores the complexity of ancient Egyptian society and its architectural ambition. The mysteries of the labyrinth have endured through time, where historical record and mythic tales collide. Herodotus described not only its physical magnitude, but also tales of traps, shifting walls, and guardians who would confound those who dared enter. Later, travelers and explorers echoed these accounts, reporting chambers that seemed endless, corridors that returned one to the same point, and passages that disappeared entirely. Some hypothesize that the labyrinth served as both protection for sacred treasures and a symbolic passage to the afterlife. Others wonder if there were secrets intended never to be uncovered, hidden knowledge lost to the sands of time. The true size of the labyrinth remains a mystery, despite ongoing excavation efforts. Each new survey reveals more of the underground network, yet vast areas have never been entered. The desert above conceals its full extent, leaving the imagination to fill in the gaps between myth and reality. The labyrinth of Hawara endures as one of history's most elusive structures, a testament to human ingenuity and a reminder of mysteries that refuse to be fully explained. Encircled by endless sand, ancient chambers lie waiting, their hidden truths preserved in silence. Ruins of Yonaguni's twin-site Kurama Ridge, Japan. Currents sweep over the ocean floor, masking secrets that have lain undisturbed for millennia, shadows spreading silently. The deep blue conceals more than the faint glint of sunlight filtering through water. It masks structures that challenge understanding of both nature and human capability. Divers approaching the Kurama Ridge report a strange sense of order amidst apparent chaos, a feeling that the seabed itself is guarding knowledge that cannot be spoken aloud. Here, subtle deviations from natural rock patterns first catch the eye, and once noticed, demand further scrutiny. Subtle formations emerge in the form of terraces, steps, and walls, their edges unusually sharp and seemingly deliberate. Unlike ordinary sedimentary rock, these surfaces appear cut with purpose, forming alignments that hint at design. At first glance, they could be dismissed as natural fracturing or the result of tectonic activity, yet repeated dives reveal a pattern too precise to ignore. The terraces extend into the dim distance, each layer stacked with regularity that inspires both wonder and hesitation, leaving researchers unsure of where nature ends and intention begins. The ridge is lined with terraces that soar several meters, their surfaces broken by precise cuts and angular shapes. Sonar mapping shows these formations continue for hundreds of meters, suggesting a scale far greater than the initial site indicates. The arrangement appears to mirror geometric concepts known to ancient cultures, yet no definitive evidence links it to any known civilization. The terrace's orientation in relation to ocean currents and nearby landmasses hints at careful planning, as if the builders anticipated both water movement and human eyes, observing from above. No consensus has been reached, as the patterns continue to perplex both archaeologists and geologists. Certain blocks seem artificially smoothed, some steps resemble stairways, and specific terraces appear aligned with cardinal directions. While erosion has softened many edges, the underlying geometry persists, stubbornly resisting attempts to categorize it as purely natural. Divers often describe a feeling of intentionality, a suggestion that someone or something manipulated these stones with a purpose now lost to time. Broken stones point to possible human manipulation, but none carry any discernible writing or engraving. Occasional fissures contain what may be tool marks, subtle enough to be missed, but consistent enough to provoke questions. These small details, easily overlooked, provide tantalizing hints of human craftsmanship beneath the waves. Even the spacing between terraces and blocks suggests design considerations that go beyond natural sedimentary processes, a subtle whisper of intelligence echoing through the abyss. Technical surveys reveal more complexity than visual inspection alone can detect. Side-scan sonar and underwater photography uncover terraces branching into hidden channels, recessed platforms, and angular walls that appear connected across distance. The challenges of underwater excavation, strong currents, poor visibility, and fragile rock have limited direct study, leaving vast portions unexplored. Each survey raises new questions, deepening the sense of a site that resists comprehension despite modern technology. Erosion has reshaped both stone and narrative, while the structure beneath sediment remains remarkably intact. Currents shift sand and silt, altering perception and making some terraces appear natural, then revealing their geometric regularity upon closer observation. This interplay between erosion and preservation contributes to the mystery, as if the sea itself participates in a deliberate concealment, hiding evidence just enough to tantalize without providing certainty. Myths whisper of ancient mariners and lost civilizations navigating these waters, tales of islands swallowed by the sea, and structures vanished beneath waves. Local legends speak of knowledge passed down from generations long gone, of lands once inhabited and then submerged. While no direct connection to human history is confirmed, the resonance between myth and the tangible anomalies of the ridge encourages speculation, suggesting that what lies below may hold remnants of a forgotten world. Yet the enigma persists, defying explanation and teasing the imagination. Each descent into the ridge's depths reveals formations that seem deliberate, almost impossibly precise. Divers return with accounts of terraces and angular walls that challenge conventional understanding, while sediment and currents continue to reshape what is visible. Despite careful study, many features resist classification, and the boundary between natural formation and human design grows increasingly uncertain. Observers are left with the haunting sense that a profound truth has been concealed beneath the waves for thousands of years. Jagged rock gives way to an enigmatic formation, whose hidden purpose has eluded discovery for centuries. The buried city of Akrotiri, Santorini, Greece. Moments before catastrophe, Akrotiri thrived as a city of striking sophistication, its streets lined with multi-story buildings, vibrant frescoes, and evidence of a civilization both orderly and imaginative. Life moved in a rhythm of trade, domestic activity, and ritual, yet beneath the surface, the shadow of the Thera eruption lingered unseen. The suddenness with which the volcanic ash enveloped the city preserved its essence, freezing its architecture and daily life in a moment that would endure for millennia. Walking its buried streets today, archaeologists encounter a city caught between life and death, each detail offering a glimpse into a society of unexpected advancement. Streets wind through neatly planned neighborhoods, connecting homes with communal spaces, staircases, and sophisticated drainage systems that speak to careful engineering. Buildings of stone and timber rise with multiple stories, suggesting not only architectural knowledge, but also a complex social structure. Even in ruins, the alignment of streets and placement of public areas indicate deliberate planning, a precision that challenges assumptions about Bronze Age settlements. The city conveys an impression of both order and elegance. A carefully constructed environment, abruptly interrupted by nature's overwhelming force. Frescoes capture the vibrancy of daily life, depicting everything from marine scenes to ceremonial processions. Tools, pottery, and domestic artifacts scatter rooms in apparent randomness, yet offer insight into rituals, trade, and social hierarchies. Some frescoes show strange, abstract motifs whose meaning remains undeciphered, hinting at symbolic practices lost to history. The preservation of such delicate artwork beneath thick layers of ash has allowed modern study to glimpse cultural sophistication rarely encountered in contemporary sites, yet the full narrative remains tantalizingly incomplete. Buildings rise on sturdy foundations, their construction revealing knowledge of both weight distribution and seismic considerations. Drainage channels carved into stone streets demonstrate awareness of water management, while storage areas suggest advanced systems for food preservation. Even minor architectural details, such as recessed niches and corner supports, indicate intent and foresight. These features, combined with the city's overall layout, reveal a people capable of balancing functionality, aesthetic design, and social organization in ways that continue to surprise researchers. The eruption appears to have come with minimal warning, forcing inhabitants to flee or face certain death beneath falling ash. No mass graves have been found, unlike in other ancient disasters, implying evacuation was at least partially successful or that some individuals sought refuge elsewhere. The sudden burial of Akrotiri preserved buildings and artifacts intact, allowing modern eyes to explore a Bronze Age society with unprecedented clarity. Yet this same preservation leaves unanswered questions about the lives interrupted, the stories untold, and the precise moment the city fell silent. Workshops, residences, and thoroughfares lie preserved beneath layers of ash, revealing glimpses of daily life while keeping many secrets. Scholars have catalogued structural patterns, artistic styles, and technological features, yet vast sections remain unexplored or only partially uncovered. The city's relative isolation under volcanic deposits has both protected and hidden it, creating a paradox in which preservation coexists with incomplete understanding. Each trench dug or wall exposed adds to the sense of wonder and heightens the mystery of what remains undiscovered. Connections to trade, maritime activity, and the stories of Atlantis have led researchers to speculate on the city's wider importance. Its sudden disappearance, remarkable preservation, and advanced urban planning suggest a civilization with knowledge exceeding what might have been expected for its era. Yet no inscriptions or definitive historical records fully explain Akrotiri's cultural or political context. The city remains a puzzle, a silent witness to human ambition abruptly interrupted by cataclysm. More than mere ruins, the ash-covered site holds fragments of societal organization, religious practices, and technological knowledge that modern archaeology is only beginning to decode. Fragile frescoes, partially collapsed buildings, and remnants of household objects hint at routines, rituals, and knowledge that have been lost to time. Even after decades of study, each excavation uncovers new questions, as though the city deliberately withholds its secrets, permitting only glimpses to pass through the veil of history. Akrotiri has eluded full comprehension, despite generations of careful examination. Its streets and buildings offer evidence of a society remarkable for its artistry, engineering, and urban planning, yet the abruptness of its destruction leaves as many questions as answers. The city stands as a testament to human ingenuity and a reminder that even in the face of detailed study, some mysteries resist resolution. Ash-covered ruins conceal hidden rooms and artifacts, quietly preserving the legacy of a civilization abruptly ended. The hypogeum beneath Baiae, Italy. Ripples betray more than shifting tides. They hint at something concealed beneath the calm waters of the Bay of Naples. Mariners and fishermen have long reported unusual sounds echoing from beneath the surface, subtle vibrations that suggest hollow spaces far larger than natural caverns. These early observations sparked curiosity, leading scholars to question whether the luxurious Roman resorts above might hide secrets submerged beneath layers of sediment and stone. The bay's tranquil facade conceals a network of tunnels and halls that seems designed to elude notice, as if the earth itself were intent on keeping its history veiled. Consistent voids beneath the seabed first drew attention when revealed by advanced surveying tools. Initial dives revealed narrow passageways branching into wider chambers, some with flat floors and straight walls that hinted at careful construction rather than chance. Archaeologists were struck by the scale. The hypogeum sprawls far beneath the coastline, extending in ways that defy simple mapping. Each newly explored chamber offers a glimpse of a Roman world hidden from view, a secret city built beneath a city. Passageways twist and intersect in patterns that confuse the eye and the mind, creating a labyrinthine network of tunnels and halls. Some corridors appear to have been intended for ritualistic or ceremonial use, others for storage or habitation, yet no complete functional map exists. The irregular angles and sudden dead ends suggest that the builders intended both complexity and concealment. Each corridor carries its own story, but the broader design remains mysterious, leaving researchers to speculate about purpose and planning. Curved alcoves within certain corridors contain small, carved depressions whose purpose remains unknown, suggesting rituals or symbolic functions now lost to time. Stonework demonstrates remarkable skill and engineering insight. Walls are composed of carefully cut blocks, often fitted without mortar, and arches are reinforced to withstand centuries of pressure from the overlying earth and water. Certain chambers display unusual acoustics, amplifying sound in ways that suggest intentional design. Every detail, from the placement of niches to the thickness of supporting walls, implies knowledge beyond basic construction, a sophistication that hints at cultural or ceremonial priorities now lost to time. Objects recovered within these halls provide fleeting clues to the lives once connected to them. Pottery fragments, small statues, and occasional inscriptions indicate both domestic activity and ritual practice. Yet many items are too fragmentary or displaced to reveal their full significance. The combination of artifacts, architectural sophistication, and hidden locations paints a portrait of a society that valued secrecy, structure, and perhaps even the symbolic manipulation of space. Traces of organic materials preserved in the sediment hint that some areas may have been used for offerings or temporary storage of perishable items. High-tech mapping and deliberate dives into flooded spaces continue to expose secrets previously hidden beneath the water. These technologies reveal areas previously inaccessible, highlighting sudden vertical shafts, submerged stairways, and unexpected open spaces. Each survey adds clarity to the layout, while simultaneously raising new questions about the hypogeum's full extent and purpose. The limitations of exploration ensure that vast portions remain unstudied, leaving much to the imagination. Baiai's luxury is recorded in ancient sources, noting villas, baths, and retreats frequented by Rome's upper class. Yet they make no mention of what lies beneath, as if the hypogeum existed intentionally outside the historical record. Some scholars speculate that it functioned as a combination of storage, refuge, and ceremonial space, though definitive evidence remains elusive. The secrecy surrounding its construction and use only deepens its allure, inviting both awe and frustration among those who study it. Niches and altars emerge from the shadows, hinting at rituals and architectural skill that remain enigmatic. Certain halls are entirely submerged, while others are partially collapsed or filled with sediment, further obscuring their original purpose. The irregularity of some spaces resists interpretation, leaving archaeologists to weigh the possibilities of practical use against symbolic or ceremonial intent. Each discovery, no matter how small, reinforces the sense of a site that is both intentional and impenetrable. The hypogeum remains an enduring puzzle, its labyrinthine halls and submerged chambers silently guarding secrets that surface study cannot explain. Even with modern technology and centuries of investigation, much of its structure, function, and significance remain hidden, a testament to both Roman ingenuity and the relentless concealment of time. Dark waters hide passageways, extending beyond any map, guarding truths that have never met the sun.